Yo, 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 what's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? This is a topic that I definitely want to touch on because I see a lot of people right now are talking about it, and I got to talk about this topic right now. I'm just sharing it on our social media links right now because this seems to be something that a lot of people are talking about, and I want to talk about it too. I want to talk about it too. I want to talk about it too. We got all the receipts for you guys. We're gonna be pulling it all up. We got all the tweets. We got everything ready for you guys. So we're gonna get this live started in about a minute or so, minute or 2 minutes. Let's allow everybody to catch up to this live. Let me just make sure I sent out the notifications because we're gonna be talking about grimy ass Stephen A. Smith, man. Everybody coming for this dude right now. Gilly the Kid, Jalen Rose, Steven Jackson. Everybody is coming for Stephen A. Smith. And I keep telling you, people, Stephen A. Smith is one of the grimiest dudes you'll meet. But we're going to get into it in about a minute. Make sure y'all check in and let us know where you're coming in from. We got all the receipts for y'all. Shout out to Mr. VJ from Orlando. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to Jem from New York. Shout out to Detroit, Cynthia. Shout out to you, God Soul. Shout out to Jamaica. Let's get it going like in another 30, 40 seconds. We got New York in the house, of course. Long Island. Then we got people from New York up in here. New Orleans, Washington State. Shout out to you. Australia in the house. Jacksonville was good to y'all. Lafayette, Louisiana. Tennessee. Shout out to y'all, man. Chicago, Bronx. Shout out to the BX, man. Shout out to the BX. Let's go, Knicks. Absolutely. Let's get it started. We're gonna get it started in like let me say 30 seconds. Austin, shout out to Austin, Buffalo, Brooklyn, Tokyo, Arizona, Guyana, Cleveland, Philippines was good. Florida was good. Jacksonville, Florida, Bronx in the house. Shout out to the BX. Boogie Down. DC, of course, the hometown, Massachusetts, Niagara Falls, Los Angeles, DC. Shout out to DC again, the hometown. Memphis, Houston. Okay, and where else? We got Ohio, Mozambique, Memphis, and where else we got? We got California. Okay, let me get into this here. Make sure y'all keep checking in. Let's try to get these likes up. Let me get into this real quick. Shout out to Queens and Chicago. I've been telling you people for quite some time now that Stephen A. Smith is one of the grimiest dudes. One of the grimiest dudes you will see in sports media. Shout out to Jamaica. One of the grimiest. Why? Because of his moves. Because of his moves and the things that he does. You don't need to look any further than the Joe Budden podcast interview that he did a few months ago. When Joe Budden was interviewing him and they were talking about his career, they were talking about Jordan versus LeBron and all of those things. And Joe Budden asked him the question, yo, what happened between you and Max? That was all he said. He didn't say, yo, Stephen A. Smith, I'm about to bring up Max Kellerman so you can think of the grimiest stuff you can say. Please prepare your answer so when I ask, you can completely throw Max Kellerman under the bus. He just said, what happened with you and Max Kellerman? Stephen A. Smith starts going off on why Max Kellerman couldn't get views, or how he wasn't good for the network. He felt like he was dead weight. He was all of these different stuff. Then shout out to my man Marcellus Wiley, who's going to be back on the show in a minute. He started pushing back on him. A lot of people started going at him. Willie D. So many people started going at him for the way he threw Max Kellerman under the bus. So what happened? For those of you that follow NBA playoffs, you will know. For those of you who maybe don't, I'm going to speak to the people that probably don't follow basketball, because the people that follow basketball will know. I'm not going to assume that everybody knows the backstory. So what happened? The Clippers played against the Dallas Mavericks about 2 days ago. It was game 3 of the series, and the series was tied 1-1. So in that game, the Clippers were playing all right in that first quarter, but then things started to get out of hand. And I think Kawhi played in that game. And the game started to get very chippy. Now, if you know anything about Russell Westbrook, shout out to y'all. Let's try to get these likes up to 150 likes. Shout out to Connecticut. If you know anything about Russell Westbrook, he plays with a lot of fire. He plays with a lot of intensity, something that a lot of fans love because he brings it. And quite frankly, the Clippers at times need it. So you could see that the Clippers are frustrated. You could see that they were trying to get themselves going in some kind of way. So Russell Westbrook starts getting chippy with players like PJ Washington and Luka Doncic. And he starts having moments where he got a technical foul here. Him and Luka Doncic got double technicals. PJ Washington got involved. So there was a moment that took place where Russell Westbrook got into it with one of the Dallas Mavericks. He pushes, like he didn't push him. He kind of shoves Luka Doncic with his forearm. Then PJ Washington comes behind him and shoves him a little bit. And they start kind of like, trying to separate the players. So that finishes. Everybody's pissed off. I'm not sure if Russell Westbrook got ejected, but whatever. It is what it is. That was the end of the game. So what happened? Stephen A. Smith goes on NBA on basketball or whatever, NBA on ESPN, whatever the show is. And on the panel, it was him, Michael Wilbon, Malika Andrews. Of course, Malika Andrews going to be there. And Kendrick Perkins. So Stephen A. Smith is now talking about the situation. This is the day after, I think, or the night of, or the day after. Stephen A. Smith goes on the show, and out of nowhere, he takes it upon himself. Shout out to everybody. We got all the receipts. We got all of the tweets and everything of Jalen Rose and Stephen A. Smith. I'm just trying to give the people that maybe don't know the backstory. I'm giving them the backstory. So Stephen A. Smith then goes on ESPN on that show, and he says, I am shocked that the NBA did not suspend Russell Westbrook. This is Stephen A. Smith looking for the NBA to suspend Russell Westbrook in a playoff basketball game. Not that he didn't say they should fine him. He said he was surprised that they didn't suspend him. So after his surprise, he then takes it to the next level. He says he then decides to call the league offices to understand why the NBA did not suspend Russell Westbrook, because in his mind, he believes that what Russell Westbrook did was enough for the NBA to suspend him. And if usually when you get suspended, there are fines that it usually comes with it. So you're going to miss a game, a very important playoff game, and you're most likely going to get hit in the pocket. This is what Stephen A. Smith was pushing for. So maybe about, let me say, 30 minutes ago, I see a video on YouTube of a Gilly. Gilly, and I think the channel I saw it from was Around the Association. Gilly now sees that video and he takes to social media to basically go at Stephen A. Smith like, yo, bro, what the hell is wrong with you? He's like, yo, why you snitching to the league? Why you calling the league office talking about why didn't y'all suspend Russell Westbrook? And even if you did that in private, why are you coming on national television to basically explain why didn't y'all suspend him? They're looking at him like, yo, bro, what are you doing right now? So then what happens? Jalen Rose, and I'm going to share the tweet with you guys in case y'all think I'm capping. Jalen Rose goes to his Twitter, and I'm going to share the tweet with you guys right now. And this was posted April 28th, 4:50 p.m. Let me share the tweet with you guys in the comments, and I'm going to read it for y'all. So that's the tweet. So Jalen Rose says, since day one, I'm so grateful that I chose to put on for my culture, ride or die, versus being a media coon. It doesn't pay as much or always get historic views, but living in and having my hometown on my driver's license undefeated, blessed. Now, some of y'all may say, oh, what does that have to do with Stephen A. Smith? He said, talking about being a media coon. Then Stephen A. Smith goes to his Twitter and he says the following. Stephen A. Smith said, I said it, and I damn sure meant it because of his play on Friday. Knowing the league offices would normally suspend anyone for this, I called to ask why this was different. They explained it, and I get it. For those tripping, I called the league. It's my damn job. He then goes on to say, all of us. Then he puts out another tweet where he says the following: Who ever who cover the league call the league office all the time. Podcasters may not. Some pundits may not. But those of us who've reported throughout our careers report and get verification. That is what we do. Folks, a lot of people are not feeling what Stephen A. Smith just did. A lot of people are up there talking about Stephen A. Smith tap dancing and doing all of this and doing all of that for Master and all of that stuff. Why are they saying this about Stephen A. Smith? The reason people are saying this about Stephen A. Smith is because Stephen A. Smith has a history of constantly going after black male athletes. Constantly. Stephen A. Smith was the one that went on live TV and called Lamar Odom a crackhead on ESPN Airways. He was the same one that had a personal campaign against former NBA player Kwame Brown. And then when Kwame hit it big on the internet, he went on ESPN, get this, on ESPN, and created an entire segment to show the lowlights of Kwame Brown. That was Stephen A. Smith. Now, to me, I am not surprised by any of this. Some of y'all may be surprised. I am not surprised by Stephen A. Smith whatsoever. But here's the question I want to ask. I've always told y'all that Stephen A. Smith only respects two things. Number one, money, and number two, power. That is the reason a grown-ass man talking about, I wake up every single morning thinking about how much money can I make for my bosses. What man anywhere, regardless if you're a high-paid employee or not, wakes up with the thought in their mind of how much money can I go make for another? What man does that? Even people that work a 9 to 5 that begrudgingly do it or even happy to do it do not wake up in the morning talking about, oh, I can't wait to make my. They wake up in the morning talking about how can I make my damn self some money. But that's Stephen A. Smith. He is going to toe the company line. But here's the point I want to bring up. This is the question I got for Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith said that he thought that the things that Russell Westbrook did were so over the line that he thought that he should have been suspended. Here's my question to Mr. Politician Stephen A. Smith. Have y'all ever heard of a basketball player by the name of Draymond Green before? Have y'all ever heard of somebody named Draymond Green? My question is, when Draymond Green was kicking people in the nuts, Shoryuken people on the basketball court, Kirk Franklin stomping them on the basketball court, throwing people into chokeholds, why didn't Stephen A. Smith call the NBA to ask, why didn't y'all give Draymond Green a longer suspension? Why is it that now that you're only going for Russell Westbrook? The reason I believe that he's going for Russell Westbrook is because maybe he ain't got a personal relationship like that with Russell Westbrook, because him and Russell Westbrook have had issues in the past with the way he's covered him, which gets to another athlete, Kyrie Irving. Stephen A. Smith always talks about, oh, it's never personal. Oh, it's never personal. Oh, it's never personal. But then we all know that Stephen A. Smith made it personal with Kyrie Irving. He made it personal for years. For years. An issue that him and Kyrie Irving had off the airways, he would then take an opportunity to go on TV every single day and take a shot at Kyrie Irving. That is y'all man for you. Nothing surprises me with Stephen A. Smith. Nothing. Absolutely nothing surprises me with this dude. He is one of the grimiest dudes you could ever meet. And I knew that from the way he was talking about his former partner, Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman was already out of a job, my boy. He was already out of a job. Already out of a job. And you up there on Joe Budden's podcast, basically giving all of the reasons why nobody should ever hire Max Kellerman again. And he even said, if in the industry, if I say that I don't want to work with you, is going to cause a lot of people out there to say, well, if Stephen A. Smith don't want to work with him, why should we? So he was soft blackballing Max. That is why Marcellus Wiley called him out. Let me read this. They suspended Draymond in the finals and ejected multiple times. Russ deserves to get suspended too. That's not the point. You're making a point in terms of a fan. My question is, why did Stephen A. Smith campaign for Draymond Green to be suspended all these damn games? Why was he making all of these exceptions for Draymond? The reason he was doing that was because he has a relationship with him. And if he ain't got a relationship with you, he gonna throw you under the bus. That is basically Stephen A. And I don't know why all of these people are messing with him anyway. Gilly, the kid, talking about that's my man and all of that stuff. I don't know why. Because trust and believe, Stephen A. Smith will not touch you with a 100-yard stick if you were not successful. If you were just some old regular dude, he would want to have nothing to do with you. Trust and believe. Trust and believe. These are my thoughts on this dude. Trust and believe. If you were just some regular dude, he would not associate with you. And that's why so many people are pissed off at him. Stephen A. Smith's reputation is he's always going to be for the man. That's his basic. If you listen to Willie D talk about him or anybody else talk about him, that is exactly how they feel about this dude. He's a company man. He's a company man, and he is. All of that, I'm black talk and this talk. Believe he is. Trust and believe he is. Do you know how I know? Stephen A. Smith knows where his bread is buttered. He knows where his bread is bread. Do you remember when Stephen A. Smith had those Shohei Ohtani comments? Do you remember when he was making fun of those Nigerian players' names? Do you think that Stephen A. Smith would ever dare mispronounce the last names of the people that actually control Disney and employ him? You know the people we're talking about. Do you think he would dare go on live TV and try to make a joke out of those people's name? He would never even think about doing it because he knew his ass would be on the line. They will get his ass quick up out of there with the quicks. He knows who he can play with. He knows that. He knows that. And he runs around talking about for my black community and my people. And man, forget about all of that. Stephen A. Smith is a politician. Stephen A. Smith is a politician. He will say anything. He will say anything. Talking about the black community. Who has thrown more black athletes under the bus than Stephen A? Who? Who's the person? Who has thrown more black athletes under the bus than him? Who? Who has more beef with black athletes than any other person? Who? The reason why Gilly and all of these people are upset with him, like, yo, bro, what are you doing? Who sent you? Who sent you? Talking about I called the league office and I'm trying to figure out, like, yo, why y'all don't get him up out of here? They're like, yo, bro, what's wrong with you? Why are you doing that? Why are you campaigning for this dude to be thrown out of the game? Why? Ain't he supposed to be one of the brothers? No, he ain't. No, he ain't. So that's your man, Stephen A. Smith. Don't nothing surprise me about that dude. Don't nothing surprise me. Oh, by the way, if y'all are not following me on IG, let me share my IG handle with y'all in case y'all are not following me on IG. Let me share that right here. Make sure y'all follow me on IG, man. I don't really promote it too much, but make sure y'all follow me there. And y'all can also follow our company's page on there as well, Dreamers Pro, the channel on there too. Let me see if I can get that for you guys. Make sure y'all follow. Just a second. Let me see if I can get it for y'all. Yeah, make sure you follow me on IG, man. Make sure y'all follow me on there. Let me post that right there. For the new people coming in, Jalen Rose officially took a cryptic shot at Stephen A. Smith. I want to quickly read his tweets. Jalen Rose said, "Since day one, I'm so grateful that I chose to put on for my culture, ride or die, versus being a media coon. It doesn't pay as much or always get historic views, but living in and having my hometown on my driver's license is undefeated. Bless it." Then Stephen A. Smith went to Twitter to say, "I said it and damn sure meant it because of his play on Friday, knowing the league office would have normally suspended anyone for this. I called to ask why this was different. They explained it, and I get it. For those tripping, I call the league. It's my damn job. All of us who cover the league call the league office all the time. Podcasters may not. Some pundits may not. But those of us who reported throughout our careers report and get verifications. This is what we do. So that's your man, Stephen A. Smith. Don't nothing surprise me with this dude, man. Don't nothing surprise me with this dude. And that's the reason why so many of his peers have called him out in the past. So many of his Marcellus Wiley used to work with Stephen A. Smith at ESPN. Even he said he a capping ass, grimy ass dude. That's what Marcellus Wiley had to say. Not me. I never worked on TV. That's what your man said. This is somebody that has had up close contact with him. You saw how he treated his former partner. That's Stephen A. Smith for you. You saw he's had beef with Skip Bayless in the past because he basically tried to make it seem like he's the one that saved ESPN First Take, when in reality, ESPN First Take was doing record numbers with Tim Tebow and all of that, and Skip Bayless was the one that invited him to be his full-time partner. That's actually what happened. But he tried to make it seem like he's bigger than, larger than life. Yusuf, I appreciate the super chat. Then he comes on YouTube. Stephen A. Smith is so full of himself, he comes on YouTube and he says, I account for 2 billion views a year. Stephen A. Smith said he accounts for 2 billion. If Stephen A. Smith accounted for 2 billion views a year, he would not work at ESPN, unless you're a damn fool. Why the hell would you work at ESPN if you can get 2 billion views? Do you know what 2 billion views a year would turn into? With ad revenue and sponsorships, Stephen A. Smith will be making about $40 million a year. Let me repeat it once more. He would be making about $40 million a year with AdSense and YouTube revenue if he made 2 billion views, because 2 billion views is about 20-something $million. Then if you thought throwing in sponsorships and advertisers, then you go figure it out. Shannon Sharp said he made $7 million on a 60 million view interview. So if Stephen A. Smith is getting 2 billion views, how much money you think his ass is going to be making? He would be making $40 to $50 million a year, which he does not make. Stephen A. Smith is so arrogant that he was talking about the views from ESPN, the channel, but he is so full of himself, he attributed the entire views of the channel to himself. He then got the nerve to come into the independent media space and then take the shortcut. You think Stephen A. Smith is going through all of the actual steps that it takes to build your own platform? Hell no. He is absolutely not. Number one, he works on TV. So if he opens up a sports media platform, YouTube is going to push it, whether the content is good or is garbage. That's number one. Number two, he then goes on ESPN where he has live viewers and promotes his show. Number three, ESPN's main channel even publishes certain clips from Stephen A. Smith's show just to boost his views. Just to boost his views. So a lot of his views is because of the ESPN machine. Not saying he's not talented. He is talented, but he ain't 2 billion views a year talented. Cut that shit out. Just cut it the hell out. Like, you are not that. You ain't Joe Rogan. Like you're not Pat McAfee. Like, don't get it twisted. But he would have you believe that. Talking about, I got 2 billion views in a year. If Stephen A. Smith was getting 2 billion, he would be making $40 to $50 million a year. And he don't do that. Trust and believe he don't do that. So these are my thoughts. I just wanted to say that. That's your man. Always looking to call the police. Call. Yo, come throw him out the game. Yo, you see what he doing over here? You see what he doing? Yo, come and call him out the game. And then what he'll say is, I'm looking out. I'm looking out. It's called looking out. Who you looking out for? That's your man. That's your man. Y'all can love him. I'm not with it. I'm not with it. You know, I'm not with it. I know I'll never get a job at ESPN because I'll be keeping it too gully. They're going to be like, nah, you can't get a job. And he look like somebody that'll be like, nah, then he ain't getting no job working here. He look like that type of dude. he looked like that. He looked like even if it's not affecting his bottom line, he gonna be like, yo, what? I heard that y'all trying to give him a job on that show. Nah. Y'all can't give him a job. Y'all can't give him a job. Nah. Y'all can't. Nah. He can't work at this network. He can't work at this network. So these are my thoughts, man. Appreciate you guys for being a part of this live. Go check out the video of Gilly the Kid calling him out. Go check out the video of Steven Jackson calling him out. Go check out the tweet from Jalen Rose talking about I don't want to be a media. I could be wrong. Jalen Rose, don't get it misconstrued and say I said this is my interpretation of it. That's why we put the word cryptic. This is just my interpretation of it. I could be 100% wrong. It's just based on the timing. Jalen Rose put that out the exact same day Stephen A. Smith said that, which was yesterday, April 28th. They put it out the exact. Somebody said free R. Kelly. Yo, I'm up out of here, man. Appreciate you guys for being a part of this live. Please make sure you follow our Dreamers Pro Instagram page, and also let me just make sure you follow me on IG. I never promote my page. I don't know why, but something tells me let me just promote it tonight. Y'all make sure y'all check us out over there. Check me out and make sure you go follow me. If you send me a message, if you ain't saying nothing crazy, I'll definitely respond to you. Appreciate that, man. Y'all have a good one. Take it easy.